throughout their rivalry. I have to say that so slow because every time I say that word, it reminds me of that Heisman commercial where they're trying to say rivalry week and they can't do it. It's just rivalry week. It's hilarious. I'll link it down below if you guys want to see it, but like I'm trying to say that word and it's really hard. Hey guys, it's Sarah and I am here today to do a review on the book Cain and Abel. This is written by Jonathan Matos. This book was published on March 25th of this year, and this book was kindly sent to me straight from the author so that I could read and review it for you guys. So this book is an adult contemporary. So this book follows two high school rivals and you kind of follow them throughout their rivalry. This book is also loosely based on the Bible story of Cain and Abel in Genesis, where they are, it's the two brothers and they have a pretty big rivalry against each other. There's lots of jealousy, lots of revenge, so that kind of story. So our two main characters in this book are Dennis Cain and Jason Bell, and they are polar opposites. Dennis Cain survives a very dangerous surgery that he had to have as a child, something that was trying to correct his scoliosis that he was suffering with. Because of this, he suffers from severe muscle weakness and he has to use a cane to walk. And Jason is a popular football star who really just seems to have his whole life set up for him, but of course nothing is as it seems. So Dennis spends pretty much his whole life just trying to fit in. He takes a lot of comfort in his schoolwork, mainly chemistry. That's something that he develops a passion for. And he ends up really having a goal to discover a cure for his scoliosis. And Jason is kind of labeled a golden child and can really do no wrong in people's eyes. And he also chooses Dennis as a bullying victim. So you follow Dennis and Jason throughout their high school and just really see them trying to survive both high school and each other. Dennis is trying to, not only deal with his medical condition that he has, but he's also developing pretty strong feelings for his best friend, Beth. So he's struggling with that because her feelings are not necessarily reciprocated. And on the flip side, Jason has his pick of girlfriends, has his pick of college football scholarships, and he's also trying to survive an abusive father at home. So I'll start with the good. The good parts about this book is, number one, the writing. The writing was really great. It had really good descriptions, and it was very detailed. I could easily picture everything happening in my head. I also definitely appreciated the biblical aspect of it. I could definitely tell that it was a Cain and Abel story with, these two rivals and they're, dealing with jealousy towards each other for different reasons and both of them seeking revenge. I also really liked, though, that I couldn't really tell who was supposed to be the Cain and who was supposed to be the Abel because, how that story unfolds in the Bible, it's, they're two very different people, which these characters are two totally different people as well, but I wasn't sure which one was the good guy and which one was the bad guy because it kind of flipped back and forth a little bit. Okay, so now for some of the not so good. Some things about this book just didn't necessarily work for me. Mainly, they're supposed to be the focus on two main characters, which are Dennis and Jason. However, this was definitely mostly focused on Dennis. Almost the first probably 40 to 50% of the book was all Dennis. And then we started getting a little bit from Jason and, a little bit more from Jason as it went on. I really wanted more from Jason because I don't feel like we really got to know him as a character. We got to know him based on how Dennis viewed him, which is not necessarily, the whole truth. And then once we started getting Jason's perspective, I think it was a little bit skewed for the reader because we already had this preconceived notion of him as being a bully and just not caring about anybody or anything. And then we started learning more about him. But I really feel it could have benefited from maybe the entire book going from Dennis to Jason and Dennis to Jason and just alternating chapters between the two characters the whole way through. That way, the focus was even and we could really follow both of them as they're going and growing up. We didn't get a ton of Jason from his childhood. We got a ton of Dennis from his childhood, but not a ton of Jason. So I don't really feel like we got to really know Jason as a character. There were also a couple of chapters that were from Beth's perspective, which was Dennis's best friend and love interest. But I don't really feel like that was necessary because she was definitely a side character. She wasn't there throughout the entire book. And I don't really feel like it added anything to the story. I don't feel like her perspective was anything that was important. There were also some certain scenes in this book where I felt like the scene was very rushed and it was very, things were happening and I wasn't sure why they were happening. And I found myself kind of going, wait, what's happening? Why is this happening? When was this decision made? Like, I don't understand what's going on. So there were a couple times where I found myself a little bit confused. And as the story, moved on, it started to make sense, but it wasn't explained to me at the time. So I found myself just kind of confused through some of it. So I personally would have liked a little bit more explanation in the moment while I'm reading those scenes. So overall, as far as this book goes, again, for me personally, it was just okay. It was great writing. I loved the concept of the book as well, being a kind of a Cain and Abel retelling almost. And I just wanted a bit more focus on the two main characters versus kind of, a lot from this character, some from this character, and then a little bit from a side character who wasn't even necessarily important to the story. So that I just wanted it to be a little bit more focused on the two main characters, and I don't feel like that's what it was. And towards the end, there was also some, it was a little bit rushed. It kind of skipped ahead a lot at the end, but there was a big breaking point in the end where something big happens, and I felt like that decision-making process wasn't explored very well. It was a very heated thing and a heated decision and a decision of emotion, but I didn't feel like there was a lot of time for something like that to be brewing, or we didn't see it anyway. And I feel like it would have been a little bit more shocking if, we had really seen tension growing and, all this stuff and just like someone hitting a breaking point. It feels like the breaking point happened and we didn't really get an explanation as to why or what, or, all those feelings that come with making a really big emotional decision like that. All right, so that is going to be it for this review. If you guys are interested in this book at all, if you guys want to read it, and definitely form your own opinions, obviously my opinions are purely my own. I will leave the Amazon link down below. You can get this in paperback and on Kindle edition as well. So I'll leave an Amazon link down below if you guys want to go and check that out. All right, I am going to be back again later with some more videos for you, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.